Sinners is one of those films where you're probably going to notice something new with every watch. But I honestly love when films are that good, they can achieve that. I will be honest, I did not truly know what to expect from this movie. All I knew was I was hyped to see what Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan had in store this time around. Ryan Coogler has an undeniably legendary run, and I'm really happy I got to see majority of his films on the big screen. I knew I was in for a good time, but oh my gosh, I did not know how much of a good time I was in for. So let me just tell you, I'm here to review the film, Sinners. Just to make you aware, there will be spoilers in this review, so keep that in mind if you want to continue watching. But I'm so excited to talk about this film, so let's get started. Sinners is a Jim Crow era vampire film with many big names in the cast. The film mostly takes place in Mississippi and within the span of a day, and you truly are in for a ride for that day. I think it was a bit of a slow burn, which there's nothing wrong with that. It sets up the characters and puts us in the Mississippi Delta. It's really building the story, and once it's at its peak, it's like you're on a roller coaster with all these twists and turns going 100 miles per hour. But let's start with the visuals of the film. The cinematography, the way the shots are framed, it's all very beautiful. Even the lighting. We know it's a vampire film, it's the horror genre, so it's pretty expected to have low light. With such a big part of the film set at night, but also the importance of sunrise, these moments with lighting really stand out to me. I also noticed inside the juke joint, there's a lot of warm light, and outside of it, the light looks cooler. Autumn Durrode was the cinematographer for the film, and she did an amazing job. I think it's great that Ryan Coogler often has women cinematographers. Overall, I thought the film had a nice blend of daytime and night, especially considering it pretty much takes place within a day. I also have to mention the eyes of the vampires. It's little details like this that I love. I am so into what's happening with the characters trying to defend themselves against the bloodthirsty vampires, and there's so many details that are so intentional, you just don't notice the first time. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention the aspect ratios. Now, I don't have a 70mm IMAX theater anywhere near me, but the one IMAX in my area, I had to be there. And it's really cool to see the aspect ratios change between scenes. My favorite is, I believe it's right when Grace is so emotional and angry, she invites the vampires in, and the characters gotta prepare, and then the shot just fills the screen. That was so amazing, and I know everybody didn't catch that, but details like this, it's all a part of telling the story and bringing more emotion to the film. And before I move on to my memorable moments, I also have to say the visuals of two Michael B. Jordans on screen at the same time, makeup for the injuries, the practical effects, it was all really cool. I love the visuals. Next, I want to talk about my memorable moments from the film. I'm going to start with an editing technique, which was the flashing jump scares at the beginning during the church service. For me, that really set the tone and gave us quick glances of what we can look forward to without giving too much away. I think a memorable moment for a lot of people is definitely the musical sequence that is intertwined with the past, present, and future, and conjured spirits. The camera work and sound design mixing was actually incredible during that scene, and I've seen a lot of love shown towards it. Before I saw the film, I remember so many people talk about a sequence that was executed so well, and during my first watch, when I saw that scene, I was like, this has to be what everyone is talking about. It really did feel hypnotic. Another moment that was outstanding and executed well was when the aspect ratio changed. And I know I touched on this a little bit for the visuals, but I specifically want to mention when Grace is super emotional. Her husband has turned into a vampire and they are threatening to get her daughter. She's very emotional in that moment. No one will let her leave, so she yells and invites the vampires in. And then the aspect ratio changes and everything just feels bigger in that moment. The stakes just got so much higher, and it's followed by a tense, edge-of-your-seat fight sequence. That truly was a big highlight for me. More memorable moments are the vampire traits. For example, needing to be invited in, not being able to endure sunlight. They need to be staked in the heart. Garlic and holy water repel them. We all know these vampire traits and more, and I think the film conveys it in a way where it doesn't sound or look cliche. Let me also touch on memorable moments with the characters. I didn't know Stack was going to get bit, and I got so emotional seeing Smoke and Preacher Boy mourn Stack. To see that bond and the soul connection between Smoke and Stack, and then this. And let me just say, Michael B. Jordan does a great job portraying both of these characters. Also, Smoke and Annie. When Annie is first introduced and Smoke visits her, he stops at a baby gravesite. When he goes into the store, we meet Annie, and to me, it's very clear that they have history and suffered the loss of a child. Despite their history, there's still love there for both sides. And it's so unique how the twins went on different paths. Smoke had to make the hard decision to stake Annie before she could turn into a vampire, and by the end, he got to see Annie and their child towards the end of his life. Meanwhile, Stack's life went on with Mary as a vampire, which during the mid-credit scene, they approach Preacher Boy much older now, and I think we learned that Smoke told Stack not to bite him. It was a cool mid-credit scene that I wasn't expecting at all, along with the actual end-credit scene. I'm sure when I watch it again, I will be like, dang, I should have added this and that to my memorable moments, but yeah. Briefly touching on the music, it's a great appreciation to blues, Irish folk music, and more. They had legendary blues artist Buddy Guy in the film as older Preacher Boy, younger Preacher Boy portrayed by Miles Caton, who was also really good in the film. I had not heard of him before, but it turns out this was his acting debut, and he killed it acting-wise, singing-wise, and musically-wise. The soundtrack features Jamie Lawson, Haley Steinfeld, James Blake, and much more. Ludwig Göransson composed the original score. You probably wouldn't consider Sinners a musical, but music is still a key part of the storytelling. I haven't listened to the entire soundtrack on its own yet, but I definitely will. In conclusion, I very much enjoyed this film. It was definitely a movie-going experience. I'm happy to see the film getting so much love. From the visuals, camera work, sound design, costumes, acting, writing, directing, everything in my opinion. It all comes together to tell a great story. I'm glad I got to see it in IMAX. This may sound dramatic, but this is one of those films that need to be studied. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next.